Yeah, I won't preamble for too long. Maybe a little bit before each poem. This first one, I wrote this. I thought it would be a neat thing to like open my manuscript with a coffee poem. And the first one I wrote was rejected across the board from like all my readers, like my thesis readers and like people I had readers. Like, it's kind of weird. And it's like there's this conceit of like Satanism that that wasn't working for them. So this is another one that I think might be a good way of kind of a coffee poem. Clockwork. It can be months, up to years, the Bay Area poet doesn't write of fog. Then, like cold, heavy cream, introduced to the mug of hot Joe, plumes of blonde bloom in what dark memory he composes. I find that annoying, like when people do that at readings, but I'm gonna do it.
Like a chair.
Oh no, that's fine. It's okay. I have a floor. Someone should take a chair. Hailing clouds. Today, cumuli resemble semen ribboning in chlorine blue pool water. In this mood, I mind the root meaning of words. How ore comes from ear or earth, and orifice comes from mouth or wound. I am bound to attach import to a leftover ache. That is to say, a beck and call, you there, the gondolier, the lovelier of us, with exposed opening and closing heart valves in imperfect halves. An exceptional hard-on-yourself look, say, blood clot-shaped cloud-ridden sky, screw your moonlessness and your moonlessness, then name it, cirrus priapus, cirrocumulus thrombosis, to escape the pother that flees too slowly. I have a series of, this is really loud, of poems that start book of something, and it's kind of co-opted from Jack Spicer, but I'm sure there's a bunch of people that do it. So it's kind of a series, I guess, in a way. So you'll hear a couple of them tonight. And I guess I would say that I decided to read some of these because they do tend to be more erotic or contemplative about love and the body. So in the spirit of Valentine's Day, I thought it would be good to read some of them. Book of Illusions. A compendium of lovers, their names, the days after and before they're forgotten. And that Chris, that Michael, that Andrew, that Jack, all farther than accurately perceivable. You, impenetrably cognitive, are so wrong. A Josh right under your nose. Love, repeatable, is a grave mistake. Grave mistake. This poem's a little graphic. It doesn't work very well on the mic, but again, it's something co-opted from Frank O'Hare, but mistake is kind of enveloped by the word grave. Okay. Flowers of no importance. Not for Algernon, nor Damal, not in the attic. The coffee table is not a grave. The vase is just a clear vase. Gymnosperm means naked seed. Angiospermae are seed producing. Outside, woody stems are polyped with plant genitalia. The steeping tulips resist death and meaning, capillary action. Water seeping up the stalks, drooping over the rim of the tempered glass vessel. Blood. A year ago, almost. Spring, spore, space. Since we've spoken, since they've meant sorry, or sex, stamen releases pollen with the help of a stiff breeze. Bees, a drone divorced from the hive mind body. Would do. Not forgiveness, not anything anymore. poppies, poppies. Oh, and I should also say, a number of these poems are kind of ordered specifically for tonight, but a lot of them come from a manuscript that I'm continually revising. And then some of them are just newer works, so there's no real temporal shape to the order. Poppies, poppies. California is full of it, gold, the rush we get from its luster. It drove men in droves here. The burning sun cools itself by dipping into the blue. That's golden too. The bridge I see on runs and walks, your hair, your hair, your hair. The wicked witch knew its power. I sleep in the gold of California. The seeds still stuck in my teeth. A trace of opiates in the blood. The drive to Dover Beach, beyond the exit for the landfill. The hills beside the freeway swayed, no, quivered, spotty orange, freckled terracets. Hiking the beach later that day, I saw more, your face against the green, your face against the blue, the currency of home in a face, yours. The transaction of memory is an image for its forgotten name. Give me that flower on fire. Give me the word for unbearable sun. Book of hookups. Small talk opens up like an aperture to let in light. The dilation, the mechanistic sphincter. This is the start of practice intimacy. Our world is simple. All safe words are no. When you leave, admit to having a name. Be so polite to let one forget it. Also, when I was putting these poems out, I realized I use the word sphincter a lot. I guess it's resting on my consciousness. Why? I don't know. But it'll only appear once more. In my poems, I can't say for certainty. For anywhere else I won't. Okay. Book of threesomes. Someone's Casey's into threesomes, depending on Book of threesomes. There is a multitude, but finite number of ways to button and unbutton a shirt. A sixth course. Hyperbole of hands, touch is asymptotal. It's short. That's not what he said. 69 it looks like the title of the poem, but actually it's working more more like an ideogram, just because it spirals in on each other, obviously. So yeah. It wasn't passion, but it was passable. We reassembled an Ouroboros, head embedded in Arachidus balls, salinity and alkalinity, swirled, taste of dirty crotch, the cleanest metal. Synchronicity is an upside-down mirror. I see myself coming apart. As you see yourself, I imagine coming inside. Okay, so I'm going to read one poem from a series of poems, also with similar titles. Hypnagogia Logia, actually it's the same title over and over again. I'm just going to read one of them, because it has a moon in it, and for some reason I'm kind of, like the sphincter, the moon is always in my consciousness, or has recently been in a lot of my writing. Hypnagogia Logia. The act of falling mocks the shape of a body pushed up against a chain-link fence. The palimpsest of plaid and the rock-colored grid has nothing to do with the banana-like figure. The disavowal of yellow intensifies, and almost, the shape is irrecoverable. Waking, I try again. Moon. The beginning of wane, the end of wax. Yellow intensifying again, the matte, rough metal wires hooked by fingers. The end of new. A little more about this particular series, kind of dream poems, vaguely surrealist, and they're in little prose blocks. I just realized it's a really weird poem to read in relation to these other poems, but it introduces moon, so. C. The curtain moves to the sides, parts of us stacking. Mood stiffens, a tightening in the pants. Ballroom, that is to say, diminishes. Music of other rooms grow fainter. We recline, only empty seats beyond the proscenium arch. Your back hyperextends, and the moon rises. Book of Moons. Tonight's full moon is, only for some, noticeably smaller, as it wraps around the apogee of its path, Jupiter and a point in Taurus unhide, foe adjacency. I'm here. What is a dark side? What I can't help seeing is what the moon does to my genitals. Frost moon, full, frontal, in a larger sense, everything seems to be moving away from each other. What we middle beings see, a stillness, also moving away. On Book of Moons. Rob stops, tops to cop cool, not on or off, onto off's cold ports, go stop socks, own no old bows, nor for odd ox do dodos dog dorks, down doom, comb mom's womb, hot sun doctor costs, bomb God's worst ghost. Do good, goon. Go on, go forth. This one's called Good Merit, and it's paranomasiac. There's a little pun at the beginning. Merit is spelled like the Lake Merritt. I decided to read it because I fell into the lake recently with my phone in my pocket. So I fried my phone. I'm taking rowing lessons because I thought it'd be cool to become a coxswain for the Gay Men's Lake Merritt crew team, which is more of an aesthetic pleasure than an athletic one. The poem's still in progress. I haven't quite, but here it is anyway.
Clearly.
Good Merit. The angle I sleep, I can't see the McDonald's across the street. Just the sky opening up blue, nothing, and naked tops of trees on the traffic island. Something in rainwater makes my hair sad. Something about sad hair makes rainwater. We can't keep parking in front of partially man-made lakes to talk expecting a different outcome. The thing about a string of lights, the same thing about locking eyes. We can't keep parking in front of partially man-made lakes to talk, accepting a different outcome. The thing strings locked eyes, lights the same thing about. Book of Reason. And this is the hard, cold fact of unyielding ratiocination, broken, a recursive function, a requisite start over. It's planetary. My desire for love is geosynchronous. Never let me go, never let me out of your sight. Never so steady. It's why it fails. You are not as professorial or professing. Where does that leave us? Floating. Inaccurate to say bobbing. Too late to say sorry, too trite. Nor does a difference in utterance make. Utterly useless. Solar wind catches hypothetical sails, as a lack of gravity signifies the free fall of longing. This next poem is Geminids, and it's the poem that me and my Specs cohort printed as broadsides for donation tonight. So if you don't hate it, go ahead and get one. And then this is dedicated to, it's for Karina, and it's dedicated to my sister. And And I don't have a twin, but I kind of feel like I do because we're both Geminis and we're very close, even though we're 5 years apart. So it's a little bit of a poem to my sister who's older, but I kind of feel like it's my twin. Wherever in our hurtling we can see glitter pouring out the black guts of our effigies, each multi-mile speck exhausting dust, light white skids unseeable to us. These ancestors of eyes of rain can't crack but sublimate my sister. How can one be reassuring when the nearly nothing of us is comprising nearly nothing? The thing that comprises everything. It's never too late to start over. The brilliance of galactic scales, up the stem of speculation. What is dark matter? What is dark matter? Everything is recoverable when you discover everything is covered. Chasms and chiasmus kiss this Christmas. No Xanadu, film or land, but is, like Byzantium, no country for old men. We can make assumptions on the other side of the time sphincter you can't breathe. I will say the phrase time sphincter is from the movie. They use that in the movie. So it wasn't my sphincter, it was their sphincter. On the other side of the time sphincter you can't breathe. In absence of song and dance, real-life fire in green screen outer space. Hot men hidden in alien lizard suits. At the heart, a story of two brothers. Space changes them. Shooting stars, blind like slow-moving floodlights outside the floating house. Precisely that. Like always, touch dematerializes the body. Like always, an effective wish is Pyrrhic. Hydrangeas. Humans differ from plants in that they choke to death over a matter of years more gracefully. Lose color each successive season with a promise of a return to vibrancy we neglect to acknowledge is false. Against the wall and its brick foundation, the tree snuffs the light from the hydrangea bush. Schizophragma, reservoir. Summer flicks off another of its flings. Water is what we say is enough when nothing can be recovered. I remember a bigger pom-pom. Silence, rhododendron. I used to memorize numbers. Now I just recognize them. Book of Leaving. When you first try Coke, it should be on a boat with an island friend. Keys do more than unlock doors. The feel of teeth in the nostril. Remember it. It's memory that keeps friendships together. Tiny bathrooms, too drunk or seasick. Suddenly on the plane to South Africa, the island friend will miss you most. He'll leave 2 boxes and a backpack for you to hold. Payment, a PlayStation 3. The game console consoles little. And a person-sized keyhole. Late summer. The sea or bay actually is enough. A hand fits in the mouth easy. Gone is gone is gone. In poetry school and in life you learn word is an elegy for that which it signifies, a rule of semantics, by way of Stevens, by way of the sea. How dry, even this sea, dry. A house neatly built of popsicle sticks, an herb garden resting on the ledge above the sink, steam filtering through basil leaves, hot water and porcelain. By this logic, elegy is an elegy of an elegy, and grief a failure of necromancy. Zombie poem B. So this next poem, so I should say on Friday, University Press Books is having a poetry reading that has invited the idea, or that I guess interrogates poetry's relationship to music. And in the spirit of that, there's a number of poems that I've written over the years that kind of borrow text or steal text from songs or lyrics. And usually I just kind of like read through them, or to read them, they're italicized. But I'm going to sing them tonight because I'm masochistic. Okay. So this borrows language from this guy James Blake, who's a UK kind of electro avant-garde, maybe kind of dubsteppy. That's what Wikipedia says. Artist, but he's also kind of this classically trained jazz musician and a classical musician. And he has these has this real moving timbre in his voice, very melancholic, lamenting, and these slower songs that he has that he only plays piano underneath. I don't know, kind of resonate with me. So this is from. So this borrows text from one of those songs. And to get you a feel of the melody, I'll just sing them. And the title is in Greek. Enantiotromia. Maybe there's enough thunder. Tell me, are you with me? 'Cause none of us is telling the truth. Tell me, are you with me? Very raging. The notion that the laws of reality cannot be changed is an assumption. Atoms are made up of leptons, Eve's too, that which hides in the Higgs bosom. None of us is telling the truth. Night sky, in its mostly darkness, is the most banal of mysteries. Who stands in the middle of the field, a better science? No one pulls out here. We champion the ignorant light, measure in lumens human densities. Tell me, are you with me? It's the conversion of something into its opposite that troubles us. Maybe there's enough thunder. It is the only way to move. I'm going to edit that out of this one's called Laryngology, and it's, yeah. I found your voice box tattered like a flag put through battle, and though dampened, still vibrating. The box carries in it all the senseless screaming from the night prior. They, half tonal, half texture, rang and battered the apartment walls. I was in there too, and the room filled with anger at what we no longer recognized. The ceiling began to collapse as if it were a pillow, muffling laughter. The next title is also a pun. It's post-love. You can't see it. There's no hyphen there. So it's like post-love. Yeah. I don't want to lead you too much. But yeah, you're supposed to hear like post-love. If things left unsaid were simple enough to write down, I would have written nothing. I'd have unsaid everything I could. Dear no one, love no one. Alright, so this next poem is dedicated to my friend Bryn. So this is another kind of like song poem thing. It's a form that was introduced at one of the Cape Canaveral conventions, and it's called a bop, and it's somewhat like a sonnet form that it introduces a problem and then kind of works its way through, maybe not eventually reaching like a solution, but but there's I guess a dialectical impulse to the form or shape to the form that introduces a problem, and then the problem is thus further problematized or contemplated, and then finally some sort of synthesis. But each section of that is interrupted by a refrain that's from a song. So this is called Tuxedo Bomb. There are bright disparities in the way my lover and I are drawn. We know this as magnetism. Height is one, a koala grappling the ash and salmon bark's eucalyptus trunk, the inherent absurdity of reversing the spoon, a plate atop a teacup. Little red Corvette, baby, you're much too fast. More rectangle than B, we're okay with that. In heat, we rise in both ways, sex and fury. The even fur of your chest and electric fuzz. You contain the dualities of our love in your body. In the nest of night's coverage, we're safe in our sameness. But then in light, I don't recall what initially we were arguing. You say to me, when do I get to stop being white? Little red Corvette, baby, you're much too fast. You don't. The quiet truth of difference snuffs the buzz from our bodies. The black ice he understands, having come from snow, that though I cannot see, I know has made us immobile. The mirror of our faces immovable. Unclear whether the dominoes falling are of bone or dark wood. Little red Corvette, baby, you're much too fast. Little red Corvette, gotta find love that's gonna last. Book of Spells. The game romance is an intersection of applied sciences. Chemistry counts, biology, biology, biology. Temperature, the cold used to cope, algorithms for hearts and other organs, balanced equation between friends, others. So many failed trials. Sense is a way of failing at sorcery. Dissecting a frog one should have kissed. So I don't have a St. Valentine poem, but I do have a St. Sebastian poem, which is, I guess, expected from a gay poet. But yeah, so the title is Several Paintings of St. Sebastian. It's a series of vignettes or short poems that are ekphrastic. They're in relation to two pieces of work. Okay, yeah. One, you draw your eyes up from his bound feet to his perforated chest, and you can hear almost the whimpering behind the canvas. Two, you realize it is his body punctured with a multitude of arrows, not the wall. Three, patronage. Saint Sebastian is the patron of native saints and other things, gays, sharpshooters, Filipino schools. Also, like how Apollo fulfills a certain literary trope, Saint Seb, the boy martyred by many arrows, offers protection from pestilence. Four, man against a tree. Hair windswept, soft curls, cloth, piercing arrow against a rocky wall. Blood. There are slits here, and arrowheads are bound inside the boy's body. Five, your eyes, a narrow gaze penetrate the callow torso, arrowing into the center of his bust, bursting. You look inside, or imagine looking inside. Six, namesake. In the film, the unpictured cousin has been murdered, devoured by cannibal boys, suddenly on the Mediterranean beach last summer. An account. The hysterical witness, the withdrawn woman questioned by the closeted psychiatrist over them. Saint Sebastian, from whom the cousin takes his name, hovers. 7. There's a lifetime you were a Catholic tale, a schoolboy. In it you bleed to death. In it, splattered with paint, you're devout to whom had bound you. Thank you.